Javi Garcia is stubborn, and that's the reason we're just a mid-table side, say some Watford fans. But do you agree? Is his in-game management costing us some valuable points? Welcome back to our Hornets walk. Hope you're doing well. This is 21 minutes of Watford chat, and we've got Aaron and Rio with us this week to run the rule over what should have been 3 points at the racecourse, but nearly wasn't. Also coming up this week then, we've got lots of social media takes through. Robbie says that's the trouble when, of course, we were playing Elton Blue, still cursed kit, isn't it? We're looking at who's the best penalty taker we've ever seen in a Watford shirt. We're talking about our FA Cup draw. Could it have gone any worse? And we're up to the letter J, of course, in our A to Z. J for Jefferson, of course, who's fine in form for Preston. There's nothing wrong with him. Anyway, we'll get on to that at the end of this particular video. Right, Aaron, have you accepted that you're just mid-table now, or you've got a manager who just won't change his ways?
I think there's a combination at the minute of, yeah, like you say at the start, I do agree that I think there's a stubbornness to sort of play one way at the minute. Although in the press conferences he sort of said differently, it is still this rigid 4-4-2 when I don't think we have the personnel to play it right now. And especially with the injuries, I think that has also contributed. Having no Bar or Vata has definitely took the sting out of what was starting to be quite a free flowing attack. I just personally don't understand the decision to play the two strikers together up front in Dumbia and Luca Kurmgard. I think they're both pretty decent players at this level. Um, but I just don't think they suit playing together. They get isolated that they're on their own. The gap between sort of each line of the team is so open, and I think it's telling in that we're giving away so many more chances at this point that we are sort of too open whilst not being very fluid in attack. And I really am puzzled that, having seen the results in these past few games, we're still lining up the exact same way.
Yeah. You agree, Rio?
Yeah, I do agree with Aaron. We're one of the only teams in probably the top four leagues to play 4-4-2, if not the only. And yeah, I think all our games, the reason maybe why we don't keep clean sheets, and going forward we are pretty good, but our strikers, apart from the old Kieran Guard like goal out of nothing, our strikers are pretty isolated, and it's a basketball match because we've got barely any midfield. Luckily, to be fair to Javi, he took out Kiembe from centre mid on the weekend, which I think was a good thing because so if you are going to play a 4-4-2, you kind of need to have maybe two like box to box or like a defensive minded midfield in there. But Loser and Kiembe, they're both attacking minded, so it really doesn't work. But you put Kiembe out wide where he isn't as bad, and also to make the 4-4-2 slightly better, he put Dumbia dropping a lot deep, which I'd prefer someone like Chak in there or a midfield of Kiprianu, Loser, and Mendy, something like that. But yeah, Dumbia going back and driving with the ball, it did make things slightly better, but still not perfect.
Yeah, is that the same problem against Wednesday on midweek, Aaron?
Yeah, I would say so. The Wednesday goal, I think, is kind of obviously it's the players' fault on the pitch. They perform how they perform, but I think the setup really causes those kind of chances. We have this thing where while we defend the cross quite well when it comes in, because of this 4-4-2 setup, the gap then between the two central midfielders and the back four is huge because those midfielders have either moved to come and press the cross, moved to mark someone, and there's always someone left. And Norwich did it against us too in the first half, and that's why they ended up scoring 2 goals because in both the Norwich goals, they found a second ball in between those two lines. I think with the third midfielder in there, we'd sort of mop those up a bit better, but they're just really struggling positionally with how we're playing. And it's why I think a lot of us are finding it quite baffling that something hasn't been fixed there. Because, like, though the Norwich game and the Sheffield Wednesday game, yes, we come out winners in the Norwich game in the end, but we controlled those games for 80 odd minutes and yet still didn't look like a team that maybe deserved to win because although we're giving up a few chances, we're giving up in golden positions because they're winning those second balls in crucial areas.
What about his substitutions as well? I mean, this one was from Keith, who says, I cannot understand why we took the threat of Myanmar off. Don't think Wrexham would have pushed that many forward with his breakaway threat still on the pitch. How bad must the defender Mendy be not to be given a chance in that defence? No way should Rathbone ever been given a chance to get that shot off. It should have been closed down. Yeah. Do you agree with all that's written there, Rio?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Javi's substitutions, particularly on Saturday, because remember, I think he's one of our most hardest working players. Maybe he's a bit raw, maybe he take a bit too much time on the ball instead of hoofing it away. But yeah, we took him off, and also we brought on Semedo, who I think he was very much at full actually for their equaliser, because he's only been on the field about 10 minutes. Yet he's just like standing there a bit like tiptoey instead of going and pressing them Rathbone down. That's what Aaron is saying about how like every team against us, they have chances on the edge of the box. Semedo could have closed them down, and also they have brought on Sissoko, who I'd argue is our most passive player. He's got no awareness, unfortunately. His well, my leg is gone, but his legs are gone. And instead of Sissoko, we could have had Mendy there, who he could have been right on the edge of the box, and closed down Rathbone. I've repeated myself a few times, but yeah, have even said Mendy, like, because of AFCON, he should be getting some minutes. So hopefully we see it soon. Otherwise, I'll be worried. And on the centre back, Mendy, I mean, I thought our centre backs had a really good game, marking Kiefer Moore on the weekend, but he was tipped as our number one target, foremost Mendy. And yeah, he's only started one game for us all season, which was at right wing back, and he's come off the bench once for 20 minutes, none under Javi. So yeah, not good enough.
Yeah. Well, this one, Aaron Patrick says, I'm completely open to moving on the Rolls Royce of centre halves in January and signing another brick, you know what house to stand alongside Matty. Your thoughts?
I think if almost Mendy's not going to be used, then they're going to have to get someone in. I think Max Lane, since he's come back in, has done pretty well. And I think if we're going to play this way, I think the combination of him and Matty can work. I was quite critical of Matty a few weeks ago. I thought he was really struggling. Have to say, the last two games, I think he's been immense. I think that Wrexham game, he was really unlucky to be on the not losing side, a drawing side, because he played out of his skin and he did literally pocket Kiefer Moore. Not just pocketed him. I mean, Keith Moore should have been sent off for a Pollock pocketing him, because that challenge he made in the first half was absolutely horrific. I'd like to add, I've not complained about referees much on here this season. I think we've had a couple go against us, but not a huge amount. It's been fairly fair. I do think that's the first game in a while we've really been done over by a referee.
Are you forgetting Sheffield Wednesday, Aaron?
Yeah,
that ref was bad.
He was bad, but I think he was bad for both teams.
Yeah.
Whereas this Wrexham one, Kiefer Moore should have gone. Javi obviously gets sent off because he's rightly in the sense that Semedo was actually dragged down to the floor before the Wrexham counter that led to the corner that led to the goal. And the reason he was sent off is I don't know if it was a straight red or a second yellow, because I when Wrexham scored, I panned to the bench and he literally like charged up the line, screaming at the linesman, and he was pointing like this, like giving it, oh, it's your fault, because he hadn't given that foul. And then also, I think it was Ben Sheaf literally punched Cipriano at the end. Yeah. Like literally a hand in the face after what was rightfully a yellow for Cipriano for dragging him down, because it was like, one of those, you stop the attack, but he literally hit him in the face. I couldn't believe it. It was like he did not want to make any big decision in that game. He totally bottled it. So I heard it was his third championship game. I hope we don't see him again.
Okay. What about this mid-table nature then, Rio, that we've got here? Mark says, I'm not surprised by our last four results. We haven't been good enough, and some Watford fans just need to be a bit more realistic. We're not playoff material, we're a mid-table championship team, and that's where we're likely to stay. Yeah.
I agree, but what I would say is I think I was thinking about this in the car on the way back from Wrexham. If you compare like each one of our starters to last season's starters, they're probably better in every single position bar one or two. And I think we do have a good squad, but Javi and Paslano to an extent, they aren't using it correctly. For example, I think Abankwa, he did really well on Saturday at right back. It's not his natural position. He's good on the ball, solid defensively. He hasn't been used enough this season under Gracia, but when Abankwa came off, we put Caben right back, who he hasn't been good enough at centre back, let alone right back. And we had Petrie, who you think, okay, maybe Ngaki deserves to start ahead of him, but Ngaki's ill. Patrick can even get on the bench. So yeah, I don't think we're using our squad correctly. I think we will finish mid-table because we concede first every game. So you could just say we're not good enough defensively. And our strikers, I know Kieran Gardner scored 6, but most of them are literally out of nothing. I think he's a very good finisher. Some would say like Ryovic, but for his size, he wins nothing. And I think Dumby is good, but yeah, that's why I say it's too much of a basketball match. And we're not losing, so credit to Javi, but we're also not winning. So yeah, we haven't won 2 in a row all season since February actually. So if you can't win 2 in a row, you're not going to get playoffs. Simple.
Yeah,
Okay.
this Christmas period is always huge,
Make or
isn't
break.
it? And I think it will be telling now is do we see a change formation, especially when Kayembe is going. We've still got those injuries, and I don't think it's confirmed yet, but I believe Dumbia will be going.
Yeah,
It's assumed that he'll be going since he's been in most squads for Mali before the tournaments began. So that will be one of those strikers obviously that's been playing up front gone. If over the next few games we see a front two of Semedo and Luca rather than a switch of formation, I'll be worried.
Yeah, I also wanted to say, Mark, last thing. So about mid-table, I was looking at the 2025 Championship table. So as for all the teams who've been in the Championship for both seasons, we're fourth from bottom. We've got, I think, 49 points in 44 games. So that really is relegation for me, if you think about it. I know it's heavily, cleverly taxed and stuff, but still.
Okay. Cheers for that, fellas. Still to come then, we've got the A to Z letter J. Now, last week's video, thank you to the Hunter MPG who left the message basically saying, J next week, don't mess it up, lads. There's a nailed on answer for it, an easy winner. So fingers crossed, the pressure's on for the end of the video for that. Thank you for all the comments, of course, last week on the Ngakia split in the divide. Really appreciate everyone's comments on that. Let us know your thoughts on the stubbornness of the manager. Have we got this? Are we reading this wrong, or are the lads spot on? Let us know your comments there. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We know there's like a million Watford podcasts out there. I don't know why are there so many Watford podcasts? Answers in the comments, please. I mean, there's only Wrexham. There's only Wrexham that have got more than you in terms of outputs. I mean, it's madness. But anyway, we love making this, and we're going to continue. So. Help us on our way, please. It'd be absolutely amazing. And we do reply to every single comment and read it as well, unlike others. So that'd be great as well. Right then, FA Cup draw. You all rushed off last week's video to run downstairs and put the TV on, and then I bet you'd wish you'd not have been bothered, Aaron, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I did say silver lining and all that. We always seem to get a championship side. At least it is away at one that is fun to go away to. No matter the result, I can have a decent day out away at Bristol City. You know, it's a nice area. Normally some good pubs and good places to get a drink. So you can make a decent Saturday of that. Would I have rather anything else that wasn't a championship team? Sure, but of the rubbish, it's the best of the rubbish.
Okay, all right. They weren't that complimentary about when I asked them about drawing you. I've got to be.
Well, it would be even worse because they're at home. Because that would If that was us getting Bristol City at home, it'd be even worse.
I think the worst tie in the FA Cup is Hull v Blackburn. That's the most championship match you can think of.
Okay, Rio didn't get you excited then, no?
Yeah, no, as Aaron said, it is one of the best away days in the Championship. But also, to put something on that, they've made it a 5:45 kickoff for international broadcast. Who on earth in their right mind is watching that? Even I don't want to watch that. Yeah, they made it 5:45.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, so 5:45. A bit of a silver lining. I've actually thought, Cheltenham are playing at 12:15 against Leicester. That could be a cheeky ground tick and then a 38-minute train to Bristol. So I might do it, I might not. But yeah, really not bothered. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Right, there's been so many penalties missed in the Championship this season, more so than ever before. So we're asking the question, right, which Watford player, past or present, would you put your mortgage on? With last-minute penalty, 90th minute, to win the game for your side, who would you put your money on?
Current player or former?
Current, former, you can choose any player that's going to bag the goal. Aaron?
Former, it's easy.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be Deeney, right? If we're picking someone to actually, he had that mantra, and he even said it. He said he doesn't place his penalties. He just levers them because he said the one time he tried to place one, he missed it.
That's an
So
ego.
from then on, it was that Spurs penalty, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
penalty against
I would
Spurs, he
say
tried
that.
to place it, had it saved. Ever since, he just slammed every single one and he scored every single one, never missed again. So yeah, absolutely Troy Deeney. In the current squad, it's a weird debate
Kiembe.
because yeah, Kiembe took the one that he scored against Derby. Loser scored a couple, but then misses the other day.
Ince hasn't
Um,
missed for us.
yeah, I think it's a weird discussion in the current Watford squad.
Kiembe, I'd say, probably is one of the best ball strikers in the squad anyway. So I'd probably say Kiembe is our best penalty taker. I think he might have scored 5 or 6 for us in the last few seasons. So fair play to him.
Of course, the club put out that the AFCON players are leaving now. That heralded Nathan saying, "Oh, yes, Kembe's going away." Terrible news that is. Bit harsh there, Nathan. But yeah, I think there's a few would agree with you. Right then, Ace said then. Jay, we're up to, please. Who have you got?
So Aaron, I was thinking. So we'll speak about Jefferson for one of them. But I don't know if you thought another one. There's quite a few limited. There's not many J's. So the two other ones I thought of was Gerardo, who was rubbish, or Daryl Yanmat. Can you think of any others?
Yeah, so I think I've got the one that they said not to mess up because it's way before our time, but I know it's a player that my grandfather talked about, and that is I don't. He might be top goal scorer, you know. He's definitely in our top 5 all-time goal scorers, but it's Ross Jenkins. I know very popular amongst Watford fans. I know any sort of the, you know, we're quite youthful Watford fans, I'd like to say. I think a lot of our you know, my dad would know what Ross Jenkins is. My grandfather always talks about him, so I believe it should probably be him.
I have a feeling it's like Boreham Wood manager at the start of last season, or is that a different Jenkins? I'm not too sure, but yeah, my J, I'd go Daryl Yama. I think he was a really serviceable right back for us. The one who sticks in, the goal which sticks in my mind is that solo goal at home to Chelsea in that 4-1 win. I mean, we don't get nights of the Vic like that anymore, do we? If we're gonna go on the obvious one, yeah, Jefferson. He scored on the weekend, didn't he? And people were saying about how we're a mid-table outfit, this that, and that. Preston a third with Jefferson up front, so anything's possible, guys.
Okay, did we put Elton in for E, or can we have him for J as well?
Uh,
Did we put him in for E? I can't remember.
I
No,
think we
we
did
were
put
saying, yeah, we were saying you can't do E because it's his first name,
Right.
and you can't do
So
J
he
because
needs to
it's
go
his
for
second.
J, doesn't? Yeah. He needs
I
to
think
go
we
for
did
J,
do E
doesn't he?
though, did we?
I think we did put. I have a feeling we did put Elton for E, which
Yeah,
I think
I
is
think we
right.
did.
I think because
Yeah.
he's referred by Elton more than he is his full Elton
Yeah.
John. I
Fair
think
enough, yeah.
so. I'd say if Elton stays E, then Jenkins should be J.
Okay. Right.
John's a great guy.
Fingers crossed we've got that right. I'm sure in the comments somebody's going to say, "You complete idiots. What about?" And make us all look fools. Aaron, next week is K. Now, calm yourself for next week because, yeah, it is only surnames only, and I know you love King Ken, but you're gonna have to wait till
I can think of K.
we get to S for that, I'm afraid. But yes, K next week then, please. Let us know your thoughts on all of that. Let us know in the comments who you would put in. Yeah, and yeah, we haven't even talked about the game this weekend, of course, as well, which is Stoke City. Yeah, good record against them, Aaron.
Being a friend of
I
last year.
don't know if we do. How? Yeah, we beat them last year. I always remember playing Stoke in the Premier League, and we definitely got beat after taking the lead against them once. It was when they had like Afalai and what was his name, Bojan and players like that. This season I haven't really watched much of them. I know they started like red hot and then they sort of went off the boil. I think Mark Robbins is a great manager. So I think it'll be an entertaining game. Do you know what? I could see us drawing again, and we might just go on a streak of them at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly what Aaron said. I think they might have lost 4 in a row and then they beat Swansea, but I can see it being a 1-1 draw. Has Mark Robbins ever lost to us? I don't think so, actually.
Well,
I don't think we've
there
beaten
is a
his
stat we
commentary
need to
team.
look up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did manage to get a cover team, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, I've got over my hatred for Watford because on Tuesday night you cost me a lot of money against Wednesday. That was in my accumulator as a Watford home win. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, the kids' Christmases weren't ruined because they'll still get one, but it could have been a lot nicer had you the words I used to describe Watford on Tuesday night were not polite, and I nearly cancelled the whole podcast for disgust and not being able to beat Wednesday. Anyway, I now understand how you guys feel every single week. The frustrations of being a Watford fan.
I thought you were mad because you had Sheffield Wednesday in your bet and we scored 92nd minute. I didn't realise it was the other way around.
No, why would I have Sheffield Wednesday in my bet? Absolutely not.
We all sat here the other week and we looked at this run of the 3 fixtures, the Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday and Wrexham, and we thought this has to be at least 7 points. And we've come away with, what was it, 5? Yeah. So, yeah, it's just the most typical thing. We'll look at another set of fixtures and we'll be like, oh, we're getting 2 points from that, and it'll be like 6. So, yeah.
Right. Anyway, yes. I've got over it now. Just about. All right. We will see you next week. Thank you much for all your support. Enjoy the Stoke game. We'll be back here for our final record next week with our sun hats and everything. See you then.